Okay, this is Lab 5 Part 2 demo video.
So first, the code would be inside two folders. One of them is conDB, which is to connect the MySQL database and the HTML file that we'll use to display the map. And so inside this folder, our main code would be server.js.
This one is built on Node.js, and it is using Express MySQL and cores. The reason we're using cores is because when we get a data, we want to transfer it to the front end, and cores allow us to transfer data between different ports. So at first, we're gonna just build an Express app, and we're gonna use cores for this to allow the results to get transported to front end. And then we're going to connect to our database. We have these credentials for the database. That's pretty much the same as the lab we did before. And after that, we use this app.get. This is an endpoint. Basically, we use this to get the data, and later on in the front end, we're gonna call this endpoint to get the data that we want. And then after that, we basically just use db.query to select everything from the well data, and then we have some arrow handling. If it works well, then it's supposed to get the data, and we return the results in JSON format, and we also log out the results in the terminal to make sure that we have everything in the correct format. If there is an error, it is also going to log the error message in the terminal. And after that, we try to run this port on port 3000, which is a different port than the front end that we're gonna be running on. And later in the front end, we can just get data from these 3000 port.
The next one that we're using is in Google Maps, and we are specifically focusing on our version 6 of index.html, map.js, and style.css. So style.css is just like different styles of how the pins will appear based on like color and stuff like that, as well as like how it's aligned on like the map. Index.html is just how the page will appear. In our case, we're going to be using Google Chrome instead of Firefox because Firefox has trouble displaying the Google Maps. In index.html, we have the key, and this one you have to use the Google Maps API to get this key in order for this code to work. This index.html connects with map.js, which actually shows how the map is displayed. So first, we want to display the map using the well data to create these pins. And so to get the well data, we have to connect that with the MySQL database. So that will be connecting using server.js. We use fetch to do this. And we collect this data, we put that into a variable called places. The stuff that we gathered in places, it'll be put in a console log. Then we put places into our main function, which is init map. And init map is the one that creates the Google Maps. So first we have a center. This was just like arbitrarily selected to have us focus on the main portion of the map with the most wells in the same location. And then we zoom it in just so it's a little bit easier to see. So for each of the wells that we collected, the wells data that we collected from the MySQL database, we will be getting their latitude and longitude so that we can plot them on the map. We will also be getting their well name, well type, well status, I think closest city, barrels of oil and barrels of gas. So additional information that we got from part 1 when we were doing like the web scraping for the well information. Yeah, these are just extra functions that help the HTML file to like display the map and highlight different parts of like the map for these pins. And again, we show different types of information per pin. So now we're going to run the code. First, we want to go into a folder, the same folder that has server.js. So here you would run node and then server.js. And now we can see that the server is running on port 3000. This will have to keep running in the background so that we can make the next part of our code work. You go into another terminal and you go into the folder with the Google Maps HTML. You will be running kind of a long code. So we wrote that in our README, this particular code. This is to open a server on our end so that we can display our HTML file. And then this part of the code just automatically opens the HTML file on Google Chrome. So we can just copy this into the terminal and run it, and it'll automatically load the map.
If you try to zoom out, this is actually zoom out, you can actually see that this is actually in like North Dakota. A lot of the wells are actually placed in North Dakota, and you can see every marker, every of these like push pins are placed in the values of the longitude, latitude that they have on in the data set that's pulled from the server. If you try clicking one of the pins, it will display it will first display the status, which is active in this case. And then underneath is the address of the well. And then underneath you can see Williston, you can see that it's the nearest city. That's the area of the well. Yeah, that's the push pins.
That is all of our code and how our program works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.